Good afternoon and Merry Christmas to you and your kinfolk. Is that a thing? Sure. To you and your kinfolk, and to all the other all the other folks of relative kinship, to whom you feel kinship, even if they are not in fact kin. Hope everyone's doing good. So, because it's been a few days since I recorded or streamed. During that time, I did do dailies several times, and as a result, with us getting started here, there are a couple things of note beyond login. Okay, what did we get? Oh, this is always interesting to see what we get out of this. It's almost always a Black Lion Savage kit. Kind of get tired of those. Oh, good, a Bank Access Express instead. Okay, so there's one thing we're going to talk about. Here's one thing we're going to talk about. So, dailies put me over my 1,000-point reward. Not a lot to talk here. It's just maybe representing some sort of incremental progress. Like, hey, look, we are in fact moving along on this, that, or the other thing. Having said that, like, there's nothing here. You know, this is a Warhorn skin. I really want a Trident skin. There we go. Let's get our Trident skin. So not a lot there for us. Like, I don't really care that much. Karma. The Karma is really the thing I like the most out of that. We don't need that now. More importantly, so while doing dailies, I got this. And I genuinely do not know what it was that gave this to me. It might have been during a World versus World daily. I may have got this on drop from another player. I think I did successfully kill a player or two while trying to navigate through World versus World. Or it may be I might have got it from a jump puzzle. I did not think you could get ascended drops from jump puzzles, but I didn't do any like super hard dailies. And yes, I did kill a player or two in World vs. World, but that was not like while like I wasn't doing keep capture. It was like Veteran Slayer. One of the times we were doing Veteran Slayer, like somebody thought it was uh, really funny to come over and like try and kill everyone who was. I don't actually want to fight them. Uh, everyone who was waiting on the veteran, like there were some players who were like, "Hey, we're gonna go kill the people waiting to do the daily." That is a thing. Sometimes people do that, and it's a little bit lost on me. Um, why? So it's world versus world. It's player versus player zone. If you want to kill me, by all means, like take a whack at it. I'm not very good, like 1v1, so there's a good possibility that you will, in fact, kill me. But if you kill me while I am waiting on a veteran warg, like I hope that's not like your big flex, because I'm probably not going to fight back. If I'm waiting on the warg, or if I'm doing dailies at all, odds are I'm not even going to fight you. I'm going to let you have your meaningless win, where you get a player kill, and that's like, hey, good job. Like you're now 1 out of what is it, like 100,000, closer to your title, and I'm super happy for you. But ultimately, like nobody cares because killing me is not a particularly impressive thing. But several of these players came over, and because I was hanging out with like 4 or 5 other people, all waiting to get the veteran warg for the daily, they subsequently were killed instead of successfully killing us, which is what they get for being like trash. But maybe I got this ascended drop from that. I really, truly do not know. Why is it important? Well, because I've been talking about how I can't jump on Springer because I'm bad at the game. I've been talking about how we're going to need some ascended stuff to put agony resistance in to meet our goals when it comes to the ability to do tier 2 fractals. And so that chest does get us closer to that. Now, where the chest kind of doesn't help us is the stat line, and we'll take a look at that as soon as I'm finished being bad at jumping. Uh, there we go. All right. Go team. Master point. So the stat line here, we'll get the Reaver. Vitality, healing power, condition damage. I don't know a build that like utilizes that. Maybe some kind of weird world versus world hybrid thing, because a lot of times in world versus world, vitality is preferable over toughness, because your condi damage, condi damage. At least last I checked, ignored toughness, so vitality is preferable because that will still protect you against condi damage. That's not a stat line we want. That's okay. We're going to take our Reaver here, because Axe will be super great for us, because I basically camp it as a Necro or a Reaper. And we're going to convert the stats, and we'll do that here in a little bit, towards the end of the stream / video. But we can, and is there a cost associated with converting the stats? Absolutely. But it is cheaper to convert the stats on this free ascended weapon than it would be to try and get an ascended axe in any way, shape, or form. So it's still a huge win for us. We'll convert it over to Berserkers for a fairly limited amount of gold, and we will be happy that we did that. And it's going to increase our damage as well. It's a step up from, what do we got right now? Final Verdict, not a... not bad, like not a bad axe by any stretch of the imagination. I like the stat line, which is essentially Berserkers, but with some precision, sacrifice for vitality. That's a great stat line if you're using it hybrid with like Berserker stuff, because if you give it too much precision, then your ferocity isn't helping you because you're not critting often enough. And I don't have like 100% crit. Right now anyway, yeah, I'm at like 55.04 there. That's fine. But under any circumstances, like, this is a great stat line, but we're going to get more damage out of this once we've converted it to Berserkers. Right now, we are not getting the damage out of it because it's a trash stat line. So we'll do that here towards the end. In the meantime, with it being Christmas Day, with me not being super motivated, I don't know how many players are actually playing today. Probably not a huge number. The game's probably going to be a little empty. So I'm just going to blast through a whole bunch of story, which is not going to be super interesting or super exciting, but it will progress us towards where we want to be. So at a minimum, I think we can get Chapter 1 of Season 4 done. We can finish up what we're doing here in, what is this, Istan? Yeah, Domain of Istan. Like, let's be done with Domain of Istan. Let's finish it.
If anyone can win that coin,
so that's the plan for today. Probably will not, in all likelihood, do Fractals or Dungeons. I may change my mind at some point, but probably just gonna just burn through some Season 4 content here. All right. So, in terms of the story, we're about to come across something that I've talked about this a few times.
Trail of dead.
And when I do my story playthrough, I will probably talk through it in a slightly more organized fashion. Like I'll probably actually I don't want to say prepare a statement, but like I'll try and keep it cohesive versus rambling, which is pretty much what I'm doing right now. But sometimes Guild Wars 2 just uses the original Guild Wars story and characters as like a huge crutch. And I don't know why, because they're capable of like producing interesting things. They've done it, many times. Like, there's a lot of interesting things in Guild Wars 2 that are unique to Guild Wars 2. So why return to characters such as Koss to support your Guild Wars 2 story and narrative and whatever. Like, why? Create new things. Tell a story. Tell a new story. Why retell an old story? Like, it has been, 250 years between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2? So why are so many characters brought back? Why are so many things brought back? It doesn't... It seems completely unnecessary. And Saida is a direct descendant of Guild Wars 1 characters. I think probably part of it is them catering to a lot of Guild Wars 2 players who played Guild Wars 1, although I think maybe they overestimate how many Guild Wars 2 players played Guild Wars 1, because I think it's actually a relatively small number, maybe 20%. That's complete speculation on my part. I have no proof for that, but like that is what I would speculate at. Maybe 20, at the most 25%. So are they catering to that 20-25%? Sure. Probably. Do they lose anything by it? I guess not, because to players who didn't play Guild Wars 1, this maybe is less annoying that they encounter someone from 250 years ago. I have an opposite feeling. Versus feeling catered to, I feel condescended to. Like, they didn't need to. They could have come up with something new, and hopefully in the future they will, and probably they will. I don't see any reason to think that they won't now that the Dragon line is, storyline is complete. But this is a disappointment to me.
Someone who's in a
Even the first time I played through this particular instance, that was disappointing.
I'll no longer be entertained.
And we'll see him again in Chapter 4 of Season 4. He'll make a brief appearance as well. And it is no more gratifying then than it is right now.
We hope to bring down the Mordant Crescent.
Getting to where I want to be without Bunny 3 is going to be a little more challenging. And of course, when I did the Return to content on my main account, I was able to do it with Skyscale. So, what is this person up to? Let's take a look here. Man, you just gonna stand there? You just gonna stand there? Oh, but your minions kill everything. So this is all the time, everywhere in this cave, are people AFK farming. And they, it's like, it's a black, what's up with all these necros just hanging out like side by side?
You'll have to hit much harder.
So why did they do that? Why did that person just do... So that move is a pull. There was no one there to pull. It's... Everything that this person has, like, is on... essentially auto-click or automated, which doesn't necessarily even require it doesn't require like some kind of complex bot. Like it's kind of, with the way Guild Wars does this stuff, it's pretty easy for them to set up, because you can is it just like control mouse to enable auto attack. So now I have skill 2 on, whoops, I accidentally whispered someone's skill. Now that can be set up on auto attack to where it's going to do it every single time it comes around. I don't want that. There we go. So we'll disable it, but that's all they're doing. It's not, and if Guild Wars 2 wants it to be that way, fine. But this is, see, again, nobody there, but Death from Within over here in the guild Requiem official has decided that he's just going to do that greatsword pull anyway. You don't get 500 or 455 mastery points by not ever actually playing the game. This person has played the game. They are not playing the game right now. Oh, we got NGs up here. A whole bunch of them, looks like. Is this the same batch of NGs that hangs out? No, we got both NGs and... Man, they're really tucked back in there too, aren't they? There's a whole bunch of... Oh, yeah. That is that same group of NGs that hangs out in... what's it called? Usually they're to be found up here in Blaze Ridge, right about there.
Feel the fury.
But today they're here. But joined by some Necros as well. Huh. Well, good on them. ArenaNet doesn't care. If they care, they do something about it.
Am I amazing?
Okay, so versus bagging on the studio for the things they don't do well, they did something really well, or really good, with this particular moment coming up right here.
The hero of Istan?
That is what people call me, yes.
There are a few times in the
People call me
story.
the hero of
It's something they wanted to do a lot more, and that was evidenced with the core story and how they implemented certain things in the core story where your decisions had consequence, or they initially tried to utilize a mechanic where your personality mattered, and they completely abandoned that. It's fine, I get it. Like it was never fully implemented, and abandoning it was just the right decision. But occasionally they allow your class or other decisions that you've made
According
to
plan, believe it or not.
influence the
Now we
story.
need to find a way
And
out.
this is going to be one of those times
No use.
when they do that.
Tried everything.
And they do a pretty good job of it.
Some space. Gonna check it out. My people are here?
A friend is bringing some help
So
from the
because I
outside.
am a necromancer, this is going to be my thing. So this is a skill that already exists within the game. It's I never use it, but it has a pseudo teleport
What did you do to
aspect
the
to it, and we are going to utilize that. So we're going to create a minion here from this pile of junk, and then we're going to teleport to it, and now we're out of our cage. Depending on your class, every single class though has an option to defeat this and escape, and I think that's a great touch, and it's unique to each class, and
I'm going to
I
get us
particularly
out of
like
here.
that.
And then I need you to get me
Season
into
3, Head of the
That's a tall
Snake,
order.
has
One thing at
some
a time.
stuff that's incorporated kind of like that.
Thank you. Hero of the
There are a
Mortal
couple other
Crescent
spots where you
Recall.
see these things. In Head of the Snake, they do a couple of fun things. They also include some unique dialogue depending on whether or not you have
So, can you
completed
get
the
me into
Codicus
Farm
Manor
Mode?
mission, or
As I
dungeon,
said,
which is
one
a fun
thing at
touch
a
as well.
time. Why don't we get out of here?
I do like this. There's something they do here, and I like it. They do a basically the same thing, but just with slightly different content. Elsewhere in some story content, and that is they introduce mechanics utilized in other things in the personal story, or the the main storyline. What they've done more recently with like Icebrood Saga and End of Dragons is they've utilized the personal story to introduce mechanics utilized for strike missions, which I think is really, really smart on their part. Here, they're introducing the same mechanics that are utilized in both the open world event and, to some degree, the Fractal that features Amala here. And I think that's good. When they introduce the strike mission mechanics, that's fantastic. The reason being, players who are going to play the story and maybe be reluctant to get into some of the group content, which truthfully includes me, because I play group content so rarely. Surely you can clump me into that. To give them confidence that they understand the fight, and that, or at least that they have some idea of the sequence of events that happens there, is beneficial. Them entering that group content with that confidence and with that knowledge is going to benefit everyone in that content. So the player themselves, and then all the people that they have grouped up with are going to benefit from that. So things like this are why I keep. Now in this case, I already noticed that, but
over here. Looks like Timey's hair bow.
Your young
this is
friends
why I
and
keep the option to highlight items on. Which, let's see, show all usable object
about
names.
a scarab blade.
For me, that's a moneymaker. It probably looks like
Stories of the real
crap
plague
to
are
some people,
horrifying.
and it's not nearly as immersive.
Scarabs bursting out of flesh.
When I was wandering around Afghanistan as a young soldier, like there were
Joker's
no
army uses dark
no
magic
usable
that
object
resembles
highlights
the
for
scarab
IEDs in the road,
to strike fear in his enemies.
unfortunately.
That's just
But
plain evil.
I'm not in
He
Afghanistan. I'm
doesn't
playing
have
Guild Wars
the
2,
real thing.
and it makes it
But he does have
easier
time.
for me to assess things in the game and make decisions on what I want to do. And when I need a rock to do a thing, because a thing requires a rock, as it will up here in a minute, actually. We're only a couple minutes away from content that requires me to have a rock. I like to be able to find my rocks without it being, you know, a painful process. All those things, and
Timey, are you okay?
with a limited number of, you know, stun breaks and, you know, maybe limited time and vulnerability or converting damage to healing or whatever you have,
Never been so
if you don't manage it well, it's going to show in a fight like this. Even though it's not the hardest fight in the game or anything, it is a fight that throws a lot of things at you. So I spent a lot of the time knocked down, and even after using stun breaks, I'd be knocked down again. Spent a lot of time getting pushed and pulled and so forth, and I'm the person to blame for that. Yes,
I doubt
this
is
fight
really
is a
source
good
for
fight of
soldiers.
ArenaNet's
He'll root
absolute
for us,
fascination
but we put a serious
with
dent in his plans.
AoE
The
excess,
big question is,
and that is
what
annoying, and
else
I
is
think
he
that is a
planning?
weakness on their part.
experiments.
But it does challenge you to
He has been
properly
doing
utilize your
experiments.
skills and properly
What
utilize
kind of
traits. And with me
experiments?
not doing a good job,
I
that
don't
made
know.
this fight kind of ugly when it didn't need to be. Some of that's on me.
Something with bugs.
3 gold, 32 silver. Now we could wait it out, but I want to get this done, so let's go ahead and get it. That's one of the things that we're going to need to convert that axe. Let's get this axe converted before we pack it up. Alright, there's another thing we need from Miani. And it's an Anthology Heroes. Fortunately, we do have 10. I was afraid this account was so new that we didn't have 10 Spirit Shards. But we do. So if I remember correctly... Oh, and look. Contributes to an achievement. Alright, good for us. And then let's see. We're going to need something out of the bank as well. And then I think we have everything we need. And hopefully we have enough of this as well. We're going to need some ecto. We got 24 of them. I believe that is plenty. I think it takes 5, if I remember right. So we should be good now.
Maybe you could show me
If I
some
mess this
moves.
up and I lose that Ascended Axe, boy, am I going to feel stupid. Alright, Ascended Axe. Berserker. Anthology Heroes. So that's the inscription, which would normally be used to craft an exotic axe. But we're going to use it to convert the stats on this axe. And, yeah, 5. So one of those, and that costs us some Spirit Shards. And Forge. And there we go. Now we have Zoja's Reaver, which is our Berserker stats axe. So that took that random drop for us, which was crazy that I got that. I have no idea where I got it from. Incredible luck, because that, even on my main account, like I don't get ascended drops that often. And here we got it on this new account, really helped us towards our goal. We can put that back. And now we have an axe with no sigil. I've been playing this time with no sigil on my axe, which is stupid. Not helpful, but that's big for us. Takes us a long way towards... It takes us towards being more damaging. Also, now we can drop some agony resistance on there, so... Big day for us. So what did we get taken care of? We took care of a bunch of story, which is what it is. We also finished the achievement for Return to... Let's see, that's a side story. Return to Daybreak. We finished that up to the point where we were able to get 250 of the map currency. So knowing that for Skyscale we need 250 currency from the 6 maps of Season 4, we now have one of them done. We also have that whole chapter done for story. So now we're 1/6 the way towards essentially beginning the actual process of acquiring Skyscale. We're going to repeat essentially what we did today with 5 more chapters, and then we can start grinding on Skyscale for real, because there's still more to that process. Yep, converted the axe, and advanced masteries in the Path of Fire thing. So we finished up Fortified Descent, we've finished up Forceful Impact. We're going to start working on High Vault. We also finished Volatile Magic Resistance. The challenge now is we have only 2 mastery points in Path of Fire remaining. So next time, what are we going to do? 100% going to go about the process of trying to get more mastery points. We'll see how long that takes. If we have time afterwards, then we're going to pursue some group content, maybe do some fractals or some dungeons. That is where we're at, and I will pick it up again tomorrow. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Have a good one.